Evening, and welcome to another edition of Gringo Talk Time with John. It's some pretty nasty weather outside all day today, so what better way to celebrate that than to do a beautiful beach reading of one of my first surfing experiences. So at this point, Bosco and I are in Lobitos, have been for a few days, hanging out with these brothers, the Ellis brothers from Oregon. And both of them are surfers as well. So Bosco and Shima were kind enough to let me take along one morning, and that's where this kind of picks up. So here we go. Not surprisingly, everything is dark at 5 in the morning. I swing my legs from the top bunk, and after a short drop, find the floor. Our room is decorated with various shells and words stenciled in magic marker all over the walls. Bosco is stirring in the bottom bunk, and I hear motion from across the hall. Poking my head out, I see Shima doing the same. We raise our chins to each other in mutual appreciation for waking up, but exchange no words. Bosco slides out of bed and into his wetsuit. I point my toes and put on my rented suit, slowly, one leg at a time. Bosco, like a true friend, zips me up. Last night, after spicy lentils and fruit, the owner of Hostel Darwin returned. His name is Darwin, and he's a father, husband to a wife with dominant eyes, and a predominant surfer in the area. Their boy child is 3, obnoxious, and to counteract this they square him up with the business end of a sandal multiple times a day. When I was younger, I received such paddling, and deserved it, so I don't object. After years of being a top player in the surfing scene, Darwin has plenty of backup gear in a backyard shed, so without much fingering, he pulled out a proper suit and board for my quest. Suited up but uncaffeinated, the 3 of us, Ramon didn't make it out of bed. Mosey through the mysterious, unlit dirt streets of Lobitos. The illumination comes from a moon bright enough to cast shadows. The little caramel porch dog rounds out the group, teat swinging low. We're the first to reach the beach, but the break is still a half-mile walk south. In the pit of my stomach brews a batch of excitement. But without experience and a full service of all my senses, I'm a bit nervous as well. I think back to watching Endless Summer and other surf films, where the sport appears so fluid and simple. Then again, ski movies always represent the same ease, and I've definitely impaled myself with a binding after attempting a trick well out of my scope. "This is it," Shima says, and drops his board. "We bury our sandals here." "Is this some kind of offering to the gods?" I ask. "No, mate. It's 'cause someone might steal 'em," replies Bosco. Fair enough. We put our footwear into the ground and organize a stick formation that should lend a helping hand down the road. Sandals properly hidden, the only thing left to do is swim out into the ocean and use its natural proportion for enjoyment. Wading into the darkness, the water is brisk and coffee black. Cresting waves provide a sense of depth, but I struggle to reach them. Like the advanced sportsmen they are, Shima and Bosco easily make their way out past the break. For 30 minutes, I struggle to reach the outer levels, constantly getting knocked off my board by the forceful waves. It's exhausting. I'm exhausted. I can't believe this could be that hard. I lose track of where the others are located. I give up. But not really. A rising sun gives me optimism, but doesn't warm the water. Staying abreast on my board, I swim north up the beach looking for smaller waves. Attempting to get some heat on my feet, I clumsily exit the water heading north and make my way the whole distance of the beach to the pier where I see a lesson going on. The instructor and student are working on pop-ups beachside. Without shame, I wonder aloud, are there any easier waves? The female student holds no grudge, but with a touch of annoyance the instructor informs me that around the point to the north, I'll find what I'm looking for. He spoke the truth. For miles, small rollers lightly patter the beach. They wouldn't get much further anyways. 100-foot cliffs just out of the sand with shelves of eroded rock protruding like an ironing board from a wall. Scurrying about the tabletops are hundreds of little crabs, sidestepping rapidly with any approaching threat. In the water are 2 blue wetsuited bodies. Both are prone on their boards, awaiting the next set. I get close enough to see that they're women, but leave them to their own privacies. After hearing stories of spatial disputes in the water, I'm not looking to cause any rifts. It becomes apparent quickly that the girls have as little idea of what they're doing as me, so our little space in the world becomes an embarrassment-free zone of flying boards and big splashes, but smiles always return to the surface. If you're a fan of water, surfing is truly an enjoyable experience, even without catching many waves. Sitting atop my board, looking to the horizon, I can't help but think of the similarities surfing has with golf. Both are enjoyable with a group of people, but can be equally rewarding by oneself. Both take a bit of startup money. Both can be done in short spurts or enjoyed all day, and sometimes night. Both create frustration after frustration, only to be all forgotten with one sweeping success. Both welcome and require attributes of the natural earth. Both, with proper equipment, can be done all times of the year. Both have worldwide meccas that inspire their participants to pilgrimage all over the globe. Both, when practiced enough, for better or worse, become a lifestyle. Luckily, the country club lifestyle and beach bum contingent rarely collide, leaving both parties to swim in their respective pools. I eventually wreck near the ladies, and they turn out to be Dutch gals on vacation. They had taken a lesson yesterday and decided to strike out on their own today. Later on, I joined Bosco for a late afternoon session at the northern spot I was surfing earlier. Except he splits off early to join the crowd taking on the head-level waves breaking right off the point. Word on the water earlier on Bosco's end was that this is the better spot towards the end of the day. There's still a few hours of sunlight, so I walk out on the slippery rocks until even with where the wave begins its curl, and the surfers begin paddling for their eventual rise. Bosco is noticeably one of the best, getting at least a 10-second ride out of each of his waves. I'm more frustrated than jealous watching surfer after surfer easily pop up on their boards and carve out each wave. Still, if I can ice skate surely, I can do this. With a rejuvenated attitude, I leave the experts with their photographing fans behind me and trudge north. Whatever swell was making the point bigger is affecting my beginner spot too, pushing my morning piddlers to amateur 4-footers. No big deal, I got this. Whether it's going over the wave or under, I managed to get far enough out to where nothing is breaking. Sitting up on my board, I watch the dozen surfers or so funneling through their wave to the south. It's a shame any aggression has to come out of such a holistic sport. Then again, with only so much real estate to entertain the masses, a limited number of waves at a spot, inconsistent swells, and coastlines that are only going to dissipate, the interference of human emotion has to enter the equation. Why anyone else shares what they believe to be a quality new wave to anyone other than their closest confidants is beyond me, especially in today's social media frenzy. The sun begins to set, casting an orange glow across the scene. I smile because I'm in a foreign country, an even more foreign place, sitting on a surfboard. Stupidly inspired, I square to the shore and slowly paddle. A few waves pass, but nothing worth giving a go at. I want a big one, at least a 5-footer, that I can give a go and hopefully get a decent ride out of. Laying in wait, I try to use the same pump-up techniques that I apply when doing stupid, adrenaline-themed activities like jumping off rocks of height or asking girls out. Just do it. Just do it, I tell myself. A wave comes and I paddle hard. Feeling the back of the board rise, I place my hands on the side in preparation for pushing to my feet. The wave surges and rushes me forward, upsetting my equilibrium. I fall to the left and get caught in the wash. My body becomes a piece of laundry, like a pair of wet jeans. I bounce up and down, except instead of warm, empty space, my tumbles are underneath cold ocean. I've been told to just let it happen, and when the wave rolls itself out to go out for a breath, but whatever I'm under is relentless. Not getting any air before going under is starting to make things feel a bit thin. Finally, there's a gap in the surge and I rush to the surface. My inhale is shortened by another wave, and the process begins again with my legs being pulled over my head. While being thrashed against my will by a power previously unknown, I decide this will be my last wave of the day. My left hand touches the ocean floor, and I push from the wet sand with as much power as I can muster. The act twists my chest to the surface, and with a little kick, I'm breathing again. I'm close enough to the shoreline to receive mercy from any more waves. My board is still in one piece, but trying to suck me back out with the tide, one ankle at a time. With what energy I have left, I grab the leash and retrieve my former buoy and haul it and myself onto the beach. Sitting down, it doesn't seem like anyone else was watching, and if they were, all they would have seen was just another small-scale surf crash. Heaving on my back, I wait for my breath to catch. There's no blonde lifeguard rushing to my side from mouth to mouth. Once again, I'm alone with the sunset. And once again, I'm going to try to throw some photos on the end of this, so stick around.